Good night. This is the Cutting Edge on RFM. And next Wednesday, yes, and next Wednesday. This is the Wednesday after the Marcus Garvey tribute. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Here's Julian Sly and Robbie. This is the Cutting Edge, as we say. We're with you next Wednesday. You know, say, believe you me. The sitting we're going here, so Sunday, man. May I tell you? For those of you who never ever get to see it on your computer, trust me, man. World class event. But you know, I hear say, I don't know if it's true, but it's like I don't understand the stupidity of some people. I hear say some people are say, Cabo invite too much foreign people to come talk, want to the local people them. But if them did really understand where I'm going, it named Pan-Africanism or perish. Now you know what Pan-Africanism mean, idiot people. We are all a little bit, well this brother here, him so idiot, him can't idiot no more, you know, because him go everywhere and create problem. Him name Alan Martin. Alan Martin, he's an idiot or what? Well, me have to ask if he's an idiot. Because the brother there is sick. I don't know how. Maybe 2 bells you know about again. But the thing named Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism is all African. Not American African, not Jamaican, Trinidadian African, but all African. All African. So you are incorporating the different people them from the African race. And to be real and frank, most of the speakers them were not American speakers. Julius Garvey is not an American speaker. The sister who spoke from the bishop, I don't know if it's a bishop, preacher, she's not from England, even though she lived there. Most of the ones them who spoke is Jamaicans. The head of the UNIA, the World United, the World Head, is grandparent him come from. So the African, well, Senegal, there was a Senegalese there, and there was a Nigerian there. So it was spanning a very wide scope of Pan-Africanists. So I don't know how people come to that conclusion. The sister Cabo know exactly what she was doing when she invited all of these ones here. You know, we had a colloquium which had two Africans from the continent, we call continental Africans, and the rest was from Jamaica, still Africans. So for all those who criticize and talk damn foolishness, go look and see what took place. It is a Pan-Africanism relating to Marcus Garvey celebration. And it included Africans not only from Jamaica. And I hear, I nobody never come tell me that personal. Well, not that nobody never come personal tell me that. People come tell me that. You know, and I hear said there was a alabaloo about the whole heap of foreign guests. You hear that as you come in, you never hear that, Sanja? Yeah. Okay, Sanjay, the too busy I walk up and down and I do nothing. All right. But she did that one. You go and go. You work. Trust me. Trust me. For your little body there, you work. You're supposed to sick now. You never have no flu, no headache, no nothing after. You don't need to do some more work like that, you know, they don't feel like you not work for money. Believe you me. May I tell you, the little daughter them work. May I tell you, man, Cabo, we want to heal up Cabo, you know. The reality of the situation is that I may really have to talk about a brother when named Alan Martin, you know. No, all me, no, Alan Martin knows anytime I keep something enough to come there, you know, they come stand up at the gate. Don't ever come to the gate. I want you make me feel violent against somebody, you know. May I tell you, you know. I want somebody make me feel like violent. Cause 2 times I keep something already, and mash it up, you know. Animal. When we did have the shop, my mother used to tell him that him come insult my mother in there, you know, Rasta. And me used to say him come down here the other day, and I go out with him antics. I have to tell Cabo, say, I tell the security, I throw him out. And I mean throw out too. I don't mean like hold him and carry him out. I mean say, fling him from the door up and stuff, fling him go over the gate. Not even carry him through the gate, you know, fling him over the gate. It's a very rude brother. Rude. Him just obnoxious and just rude. Anywhere him go, him want to be seen and heard and thing. Sure. And I just him a style up a little daughter them. I just him style up somehow, you know. I don't know if you never did when him style up. Him can't style up, you come, you know, you box him dog. Because you get a girl for a long time. We want to give thanks for Sanchez in the studio with me. She just come, we give thanks. You're looking fresh and bright though, believe you me, with your brunette ear style. Yes, you know, me know say you'll box him down, trust me. You know what I tell you? Because me can't be to the brother live clear from town, come clear long as of aggravate people, you know. I keep things up at university already and then make the thing done, you know. And more than one time I do them thing there. And I tell you, it's years I do that. Years. I talk about years. There's not one place I go where I not say him create disturbance. But I tell you, no, believe you me, no. All people that talk about this and that, if me did ever out there, outside, because Cabo tell me say I'm out there, no. If me did ever outside, trust me, you know that cry shame a Muta. And you know that say, Jesus, I'm crying. I believe Muta was a Christian Rasta, you know. And that's what I think, you know. Yeah, because anytime I see a brother, they bring something that boil up in a me, Rasta. It's like him bring the worst out of me, you know, anytime I see him, you know. Yeah, because from the time he insult my mother, and I have to run him down. I tell you, I have to run him down, you know. No, but I laugh through, I feel good to run him down, you know. I just laugh, say, the man bring out the worst in me. I'm just saying, come down here now, with all them thousands of people there. I know the worst part right now, it's like me I hear say, the way I go on, people are take up for him. You understand? And I throw insult at good little girlfriend them where I work with me every day down here, so when I know say them innocent of all things like that. And there was nothing wrong. Anyway, we want to give thanks for the real celebration for Marcus Garvey. Really and truly. We give thanks to it, and we want to heal up Cabo. And we want to heal up Debbie Ann, who sanctioned most of the things them that wanted to make the program a success. Yes, a success. And, you know, it's from Carl Young there that are going and it continue. The traditional legacy of IRFM as it relates to Marcus Garvey and reggae music is potent. Very potent. You understand? So, this is a message from me to Alan Martin. Alan Martin, no make me see you down here again, you know. Believe you me, I'm going to make some man throw you from Yassa go through Fern Gully. I don't know how that's possible, but it can possible. All right. Yelling up Emperor Selassie the First. That's man Dito. Speaking of His Majesty Emperor Selassie the First, you know, the first time we go to Montego Bay, we are driving to Montego Bay because we are look for left Kingston. We want to go in some bush to live. We are side Rastafari up on another level. So we drive, go down me and kid us eye. We drive, go to Mobile, and the first place we went up was on a beach. And the beach, and that's what the rest of them used to there. Right after you pass the pier there, right on the long strip there, go right to where them now call catching the place where them keep Sumfest. Where Sumfest there, right from the beach, you go right down. Whole heap of Rasta used to congregate on the beach there. Well, one of the brethren them when we first woke up on the beach, there was Bongo U. Yes, U Williams, Bongo U. Everyone knew Bongo U as the herbalist doctor. And you know, say, to my reality, when me say, I one of the best. When me hear man talk about them a herbal doctor, herbal this and herbal that, to me, Bongo you was the best herbal doctor where I didn't know. I mean, sometimes the beach pack up with people. I look aid from Bongo you. When they move them from half of the beach there, when they go develop the beach, they move, go round to Reading, round a Reading, that's all, near to the factory, that's all. And them have him practice a go on there, and then him eventually move from this one and go up to the hills. But for those of you who know Bongo you know say, Bongo you was a very proud Rasta man. Very, very proud Rasta man. You understand? Move one away and all these things. Well, Bongo you pass away, Yeah, Bongo you pass away. And we want the ones them who know Bongo you know say a service in praise of Bongo you and a Thanksgiving will be at Montego River Garden at a Portobello. For those of you who don't know which part that there, it's easy to find. Right in our St. James there. The services are about the Thanksgiving and praise for Bongo you, great herbalists. We have to say herbalists because the man they didn't know where to give people for what. And it worked. Yes, only people can testify to that. So this will be held at the Montego River Garden, Portobello, St. James, on Saturday, August 26th, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. So we are going to try to reach long there. Believe you me, we are going to try to reach long there because me say, at the first, I mean, apart from going to Bingy, we never really in contact with him until we decide that we're going to end up down a Montego Bay here. And with their St. James for 15 years, we live up in the bush at Potosi. So when you know all the people at Potosi who know so we used to live up there. Yes. But I wonder what happened now if we're still up there because the amount of gunman youth and woolly youth now, I hear say about it, and true, we never have no wall, and we never have no this and no that, I protect we round and about. I don't know what happened if we're still up there. Because no youth are here dead. No youth are here dead will come from in the area, not necessarily in that community they saw, but in the area. You know, because you have black shop around there, so. You know, you have but I forget the name of the place. Well, Potosi, really and truly, black shop. Yes, and you can walk, go around there, so I end up around which part Jimmy Cliff come from. Yes. But Bongo you, yes, Bongo you. Montego River Garden, Portobello. There will be a Thanksgiving Isis there for him on Saturday, August 26th at 7 p.m. That will be happening there. So those of you who can make it, yes, go and make it. Yes, this is the Cutting Edge and IRFM there with you. Okay, so we have a very interesting program lined up here, so you know, believe you me. And when I go delay it, because it's after 11. So I could line up this tune, yeah? I could line up this tune and then go into the vegetable of the matter. Yes, me I tell you, man. Okay, so Pat Clark time, believe you me. So we're going to the feature. Pat Clark, she's going to talk about Marcus Garvey's first wife. Hear me, Ashud Garvey.
Welcome to Jamaican Roots and Culture. I'm Pat Clark. Women are known to play valuable roles in the lives of men. Arguably the greatest black philosopher ever, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, had the honor of sharing his life with two women. Coincidentally, both had the first name Amy. Let's look at the role of his first wife. Amy Ashwood Garvey was a Jamaican Pan-Africanist, activist, director of the Black Star Line Shipment Corporation, and founder of the Negro World newspaper. She was married to Marcus Garvey between 1919 and 1922. Amy Ashwood was born in Port Antonio, Jamaica on January 10, 1897, the only daughter of the three children of businessman Michael Delbert Ashwood and his wife, Modriana Thompson. As a child, Amy was told by her grandmother that she was of Ashanti descent. Taken to Panama as an infant, she returned in 1904 to Jamaica and attended the Westwood High School for Girls in Trelawney, where she met Marcus Garvey, with whom she founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association, UNIA, in 1914. Amy Ashwood organized a women's section of the UNIA, and in 1918 she moved to the United States, where she worked as Garvey's aide and as a secretary of the UNIA's New York City branch. Amy Ashwood and Marcus Garvey married on December 25, 1919, but the marriage quickly broke down, ending in divorce. Garvey divorced Ashwood in Missouri in 1922 and quickly married Amy Jakes, Ashwood's former roommate and maid of honor. Amy Ashwood reportedly never accepted the divorce and contended to the end of her days that she was the real Mrs. Garvey. Ashwood became a director of the Black Star Line Steamship Corporation and founded the Negro World newspaper. She moved to Great Britain, where she struck up a friendship with Lapido Solanke. Together, they founded the Nigerian Progress Union, and she later supported Solanke's West African Students Union. But in 1924, she returned to New York, where she produced comedies with her companion Sam Manning, a Trinidadian calypso singer who was one of the world's pioneering black recording artists. Among the productions was Brown Sugar, a jazz musical production at the Lafayette Theatre, which featured Mannings and Fats Waller and his band. In 1934, Amy Ashwood returned to London and with Manning opened the Jazz Florence Mills Social Club, a jazz club on Carnaby Street, which became a gathering spot for supporters of Pan-Africanism. Amy Ashwood helped to establish the International African Friends of Abyssinia with C.L.R. James, the International African Service Bureau, with figures like George Padmore, Chris Brathwaite, and Jomo Kenyatta, and the London Afro Women's Center. Amy Ashwood spent some time in 1939 in New York, then went to Jamaica, where she and other prominent people formed the short-lived J.A.G. Smith political party. In 1944, Amy Ashwood again returned to New York, where she joined the West Indians National Council and the Council on African Affairs, and also campaigned for Adam Clayton Powell, Jr., a U.S. politician. Amy Ashwood Garvey chaired the first session of the 5th Pan-African Congress in Manchester in 1945. In 1946, Ashwood moved to Liberia for 3 years, where she began a relationship with the country's president, William Tubman. Whilst there, she researched the conditions for women in Nigeria, and she gave talks to women's groups there. She then returned to London, helping to set up the Afro People's Centre in Ladbroke Grove in 1953. Amy Ashwood was a friend of Claudia Jones and was on the editorial board of the Brixton-based West Indian Gazette, founded by Jones in 1958. In the wake of the Notting Hill riots in 1958, Amy Ashwood co-founded the Association for the Advancement of Colored People. In 1959, she chaired an inquiry into race relations following the murder of Kelso Cochrane in London. According to Mrs. Garvey, her grandmother told her that she was a descendant from Joven, and that her grandmother was in fact a captive from Jobin. In 1924, she met J.B. Dacroix in London and told him her grandmother's story, and Dacroix confirmed to her that Jobin is in fact an Ashanti city-state. 15 years later, Amy Ashwood also met another Ghanaian barrister, Kwabena Kese. In 1946, Barrister Kese took Mrs. Garvey to Jobin, leading to the verification of her Granny Daba's account. The Ashanti people are commonly known to Jamaicans as the freedom fighters that fought against slavery and oppression. The national heroine Nanny of the Maroons is also an Ashanti queen. Many Jamaicans, even non-Maroons, can also make accounts of having family of Ashanti descent. Amy Ashwood Garvey returned to Liberia in 1960, but was back in London 4 years later and spent the next 3 years mostly in Jamaica and Trinidad. In 1967 to 68, she toured the United States. With failing health, she returned to Jamaica in 1968 and died in Kingston on May 3rd the following year, aged 72. Amy Ashwood Garvey was buried on Sunday, May 11, 1969, in Kingston's Calvary Cemetery. And now to end Jamaican roots and culture, here's our famous quotation from the Black diaspora. The friend of a fool is a fool. The friend of a wise person is another wise person. A proverb from the Hosea tribe of Africa. For Jamaican roots and culture, I'm Pat Clark.
Well, may I tell you, believe you me, me hear some things span that a while ago, me never know. I mean, a whole heap of ones out there who very familiar with Marcus Garvey, two wife, them never know. So, me need to play that back in the day. Yeah, me need to play that back in the day because me always read about images, but some of the things that me hear there, so, and the first me hear them, brother, believe you me. So, great information, great investigation, and research by Pat Clark once again. We're going to play it back tomorrow. Definitely, we're going to play it back tomorrow. That is why I say, Jamaican people, we need to understand a whole heap of things. And sometimes the radio or the media them is lacking in certain things. And we decide that we are going to give you part of the history where it's untold and no people don't want to talk about it. I have never heard such a comprehensive review on Amy Ashwood. I had the honor of sitting with Amy Jakes Garvey in our days at 12 Mona Road as a school youth. I go to Kingston Technical. People hear me say that all the while. Marcus Garvey Jr. used to teach at Kingston Tech. Me and my brethren used to go. Even a brethren named Carl Philpato, we used to go at that time. We used to have this whole heap of coming together, young people from different schools. And those of us who was Rastafari inclined and black conscious inclined used to go amongst Amy Jakes Garvey. Remember Carl Philpat, who became part of the 12 tribe, just like me did come part of the 12 tribe. You know, we used to have arguments, spant-up arguments. Having some serious arguments with Amy Jakes Garvey. You understand? But, yes, I like that. I like the comprehensiveness of the thing. Well researched and all them something there. This is the Cutting Edge on IRFM. Well, why you listen to this? Seriously, because this is part of the program for the night. This is what we're going to do. Part of it. It's not only it you're going to hear, but you're going to hear the first part I will feel say fit into the other part. Here goes.
I would like to first express my appreciation for your invitation. It took me 50 years to get to Tuskegee. 50 years ago, at age 16, I applied for entrance to Tuskegee. My application was accepted, but the immigration laws of the United States of America were such, and I don't think they have changed much, that I couldn't get here. I remembered that such had happened to a man before me by the name of Marcus Messiah Garvey. He was invited by Booker T. Washington. I don't know if you know about him. I heard you don't have a Booker T. Washington Day. Unusual. But anyhow, probably better thoughts may come about and there will be a Booker T. Washington Day at Tuskegee. But anyhow, Marcus Messiah Garvey was invited by people. Yet I thought that I've educated myself down through those period of time. And it is because of that self-education in those things which meant most to me as an African person that I decided at no time would I stand still in these halls of indoctrination and not rebel with the necessary documentation of the lies that are being taught in these halls. And so I may be saying things that may hurt many of you, if not most of you, because some of the lies have become your dear frame of reference. We could start with the Greeks. I hope you of fraternities and sororities don't get too bothered about it, since the Greeks weren't too much anyhow. But we can start with that, because there is where our institutions of learning has decided to start civilization. Yet the Greeks are only here from at least 1,000 before the Common Era, or before the Christian era, as you would prefer to say. Let us just, for example, cite one. And that particular person would be Hippocrates. And I'm sure that you heard of Hippocrates. And when you consider that Hippocrates wasn't born until 333 BC, or before the Common Era, yet in your education you were told that Hippocrates is the father of medicine. That's a lie. There's no way that I can say about it other than it's a lie. A lie is a lie, whether it's in the university or in the church. How could Hippocrates be the father of medicine when the first time you see him, he is in Egypt learning medicine from Africans? There are numerous papyri, medical papyri on medicine. The nearest to Hippocrates is at least 1,300 years before he was born. For example, we have what is known as the Hettus papyrus, the Ebers papyrus, and now the so-called Rockefeller papyrus, the Edwin C. Smith papyrus. All of these papyri go back to as early as 3100 BC. The man who Hippocrates took an oath that he would practice medicine according to this man, this African, whom the Greeks call Aesculapius in the Hippocratic Oath, a man by the name of Imhotep, died He practiced medicine and died 2,500 years before the birth of Hippocrates. And you are telling me that the medical school and the pre-medical historians don't know this? They don't know it because, unfortunately, Imhotep had a high visibility like myself, otherwise called black. They don't know that the Ebers Papyrus by Hatshepsut, dealing with Planned Parenthood, I said Planned Parenthood, 1,550 years before the birth of Jesus the Christ, is out there, when every medical journal in 1961 published copies of the Ebers Papyrus. And we could go on with the papyri with respect to...
Yeah, this is the Cutting Edge. By now, you must know that, for those of you who have been listening to Cutting Edge over the years, you know, so that is the voice of JOCHANNAN. Yes, and you know that we brought him here twice, right here on the campus here at Fire FM, and one time out of Windsor Land, them call out there. Yeah, Windsor Land, place cark till it can't cark no more. You know, thing says a big dance I keep out there. He passed away. Yes, he passed away, just like Dick Gregory. We never get to bring Dick Gregory also, but Dick Gregory was one of them icons. May I tell you, if we talk about my favorite, not even activist, comedian, political oriented, give me Dick Gregory and George Carlin. You know the name George Carlin? You don't know the name George Carlin. Look at your computer. George Carlin, one of them great political activists, comedian, and we love them. Dick Gregory, one of them political activists, comedian, and we love him. Passed away, I think him passed away, 84-year-old. So we're going to continue with JOCHANNAN here, talking about the Greeks and how them teach you to believe, say, all of them things, the philosophy and all them things, they belong or started amongst the Greeks. So we continue.
We ride with respect to all kinds of diseases that the Africans had produced, both in Egypt and Ethiopia and Sudan and a place then called Puanit, now called Somalia. But that would be satisfactory, but let us take the kind of education that we do have. We are in a chapel, and we have been told about an immaculate conception and virgin birth. We have been told about the beginning of the world with Adam and Eve. We have been told about a man by the name of Cain who slew his brother Abel. And we have been told that all of these things only happen once. And they go back to the Old Testament, or otherwise called the Torah, or the Pentateuch, or the Chumash. Those are names for what you call the Old Testament. But we have never been told that they are only copies of stories that predated them by thousands of years. Let us put them one by one. I heard some hymns and everything already. Oh yes, you have been told a lot of lies. No other way to talk about it. And those who teach them, if in fact they did any research, must know they are lies. That is providing that they have never gone to Egypt or to Ethiopia or to Sudan to see the living proof. The writings on the tombs, the writings in the pyramids, what is called the pyramid text and the coffin text. That is providing that they have not seen the holy scriptures of the Africans of the Nile Valley, otherwise called the Egyptian Book of the Dead, or as Budge called it in his translation of the hieratic writing, or the Egyptian Book of the Coming Forth by Day and by Night. In the temple of Setaiwan, for example, at a place called Abydos, not only is there the writings of an immaculate conception 4,000 years before the story of Mary, but it is there in picture form. Are we to say that the theologians of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam have never once taken a trip to Egypt, from whence these things were taken? In that same temple, you see a story of how Setaipan murdered his brother Osiris 2,000 years before the Jewish story of Cain and Abel. And we are told that an African from Egypt by the name of Moses, born in the city of Goshen, that's still Egypt. Egypt is in Africa, by the way. The last time I saw it in January. You heard of a place called Middle East. I don't know of any place called Middle East. That's political jingoism. But we can find that there was no Moses on Mount Horeb in the Sinai to receive any 10 commandments that had not been given before or written before in Egypt, because you could go in the book of the coming forth by day and by night, the book of the dead, and see in what is called the Osirian drama, not only those 10, but 32 more, a total of 42, which you can also go in the temple of Ramesses VI, in the Valley of the Kings, across what is today called Luxor. And in that tomb, you would see the 42 listed commandments, or otherwise negative confession, 2,000 years before the birth of Moses. But they told you that Moses was taught. He was an Egyptian, taught in school in Egypt, and became a priest in the system. Could you have been born in the United States of America, went to kindergarten, then elementary school, junior high school, and never heard of the United States Constitution? It was equally impossible for Moses to have born in Egypt, go to school in Egypt, study an Egyptian system, worship God Amun-Ra, and never once heard of the 42 negative confession, which have in it, thou shalt not kill. I have not killed man nor woman. I have not made like thy bushel. I have not this. Moses himself is charged with murder. His brother Aaron is charged with theft. 40 years before they reached Mount Sinai, then somebody had a law against theft and against murder before he reached Mount Sinai. Where did they get it? But you weren't taught anything about this. All of this information have been suppressed at a place called the Council of Jamia and the Council of Nicene in 325 AD, when Constantine, the Roman emperor, conquered North Africa, took over the role of the Christian church, which started in Alexandria with Pantheus and Boethius, not in Rome. But this too you have not been taught. You have not been taught that the three people who died first in the name of Jesus the Christ were 3 African women: Felicita, Nymphano, and Perpetua. Yet you know everything. You're born again. You know it all. You can't be blamed for it. Even your teachers may not be able to be blamed for this, because one can't teach what one doesn't know, or one have not learned, or one have not experienced, because there is no interest for people to go to Egypt to see anything but to go to the Holy Land. And that's why Jesse is tied and had to get on his knees and pray and beg forgiveness. He was scared he wouldn't be able to get back in the Holy Land for saying what was right. But there's more than that. Because you have been told that unless Europeans teach you, you haven't been taught. But who told you that the first university built in all of Europe was built by Africans called Moors at the university, what is called the University of Salamanca in Spain? Check it out. Europe's first university. Not only the stones were put together like the stones in most of the building and the bricks in most of the building here. I'm not talking about that aspect of only the building. I'm talking about the educational system is nothing but a copy of the University of Djenne, D-J-E-N-N-E, of ancient Ghana, which was burnt down and rebuilt as the University of Sankore in the city of Tumbat, which the French later called Timbuktu. Then carried, as the Africans called Moors, conquered Iberia, now Spain and Portugal and southern France, and established in there the university system. And as I said before, it was not the first. The earliest of the Greeks were trained in a place called the subordinate lodge of Croton and Delphi. Subordinate lodges of the Grand Lodge in a place called Waset, which the Greeks later changed to Thebes or Thebes. The current Arabs changed it to Luxor. But did you get that in Greek philosophy? Did you get it in Greek history or European history? None whatsoever. And how did you get Hannibal Barca and his father Hasdrubal Barca and his brother and his father, rather, Hamilcar, his brother Hasdrubal? How did you receive it in the educational system? How did the textbook show it? It showed it as they were not Africans. What they said is some Phoenicians came from Phoenicia, and Carthage, which they later called Carthage, was in fact a Phoenician country. 80 people came from Phoenicia with a woman named Elisa, which Virgil called Dido or Dido in his little play about it. And those 80 changed all the Africans into Phoenicians. And thus we are taught that the Africans of Carthage were in fact Caucasians. It's all right when they taught me in school in Puerto Rico, I didn't know any difference. I'm born in Ethiopia, grew up in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, and Cuba and Brazil. So when they were teaching me that at the University of Puerto Rico, I knew no difference, and so it went down all right. But I accidentally went to Morocco, accidentally, and find that what I had been taught in school was nothing but a pack of lies. Because I then went into the temple, I then went into the museum and found that it was totally different, but then I went on to Italy, in the Medici Museum. The Museum of Alessandro de' Medici, only to find that Alessandro was an African born in Italy. And no one had told me up to then that there were Roman emperors from Africa, such as Honorius and Septimus Severus and his son Caracalla. No one had taken time to explain to me anything about the Greeks coming to Egypt and to Nubia and to Ethiopia, depending on who they were, to receive their earliest education, those who had not gone to a little colony, a little enclave in what was then called Lebus, now called Libya, to receive their first glimpse into education taught by Africans. Well, having gone the route of civil engineering and with a bachelor's and then master's in architectural engineering, you would think that I should be satisfied at that point. But I couldn't be satisfied because the fire had burnt. You see, I was the admirer of two particular people at that time. One called Booker T. Washington, and one called Marcus Garvey. In the reverse, Garvey first and then Washington. Garvey because in my household, Garvey was the word next to the deity. And the relationship between Garvey and Booker T had become so close that I too followed the teachings and philosophical concept of the late Honorable Booker T. Washington. But within that philosophy was something else both men always taught: the integrity of the individual. And the integrity of the individual refused, in my case, to accept lies, such as Benny Goodman is the king of swing, and Duke Ellington must have been the emperor of swing. Chick Webb, having taught Gene Krupa, I was told that Gene Krupa is the best on the drum, but he went to Chick Webb to get to be the best on the drum. I don't know if you know Chick Webb, you know Ella Fitzgerald. That's Chick taught her. I just throw that in to show you that the lie doesn't stop in ancient time. It continues up to today as truth. And so in my further examination, I was dealing with 3.14. All of you here in engineering knows what it's supposed to symbolize. They say it's 5. And I was taught that it came from the Greeks. And you know, I believed it. What else could I do? The teacher told me. And then when I went to Ethiopia and to Egypt and to Nubia, in the ancient records of the ancient Africans of the Nile Valley Africans, there was pi being used 2,000 years before there was such a place as Greece. The first writer of Greece that brought Greece into civilization, because they said the demarcation between uncivilized and civilized have to do with the time when you start writing history, they call it, prehistoric and historic. And Homer is the Greek first writer. And Homer said that even the concept of God, Zeus and Apollo, came from Ethiopia. So when you get in the Greek fraternities and sororities, just remember what Homer said. You must have dealt with the Iliad and the Odyssey by now. But again, I understand. You see, you have been taught by Alex Haley and others that your history started in the slave trade. But they don't even tell you how the slave trade started. They blame you for enslaving yourself. They say your ancestors sold you out. Nice statement. So I asked the guy, what country, what was the name of the king? Oh, don't worry about that, they sold you out. As if I don't know that the slave trade started with the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church by the name of Martin V. And Reverend Bartolomeo de las Casas on the island of Hispaniola, now called Haiti and Santo Domingo. You see, nobody told you it's time to get sorry, to feel bad when some Haitians were being slaughtered on the coast of Florida. That's what it is. If you send a people back to sea on the condition where they were, that's genocide. But you see, you didn't feel anything because you weren't taught to realize that the Haitians are your brothers and sisters, because you don't know that the first Africans to be brought in slavery was not taken from Africa, but from Spain and carried to Haiti, then called Hispaniola, in 1506. under the aegis of the Pope of the Roman Church and Bartolomé de las Casas. But how did you get in Spain? That was 1506. But you went into Spain, which was then called Iberia, Spain and Portugal and southern France, as conquerors yourself in 711 under the leadership of Tariq, for whom the Rock of Gibraltar is now named Gibraltariq. Nothing in your education, because there's nothing in your textbooks about any of this. So you'll have to go to Spain. Luckily, at the University of Barcelona, where I attended for 2 years, there are these documents, and I had never known anything about them. I had known that the Africans called Moors had ruled Spain from 711 until 1485. The last of them losing power at a place called Granada. I was always wondering, why is it that 90% of all the songs coming out of Spain was singing to La Morena, the black woman? So how come in this country 90% of all the songs, the records, the tapes, everything is La Morena this and La Morena that? It is when I went there I found out La Morena raised hell in Spain. She's still raising hell in Montgomery, Alabama, and in Tuskegee, Alabama, and in Tuskegee Institute. I could look around and see her. Of course, the first one of you threw a good baseball and a good basketball, forget that she could raise hell. You don't want her for a wife anymore. You hit the numbers, you don't want her for a wife. Some of you forget you look like your mama. Sorry, fellas. Try one, it may be good for your health. But we must go back and ask ourselves, why is this so? And I said to the students today at the high school, even the paper you write on shows your heritage and your history. It was in Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan that the first papyrus paper was created, not rice paper in China. Just as it was in Egypt that engineering, Sesostris II, you are engineers, many of you, Sesostris II, changed the flow of the Nile. That S-turn you see there was placed there by African engineers in 2250 BC. There was no Jesus yet. No Adam and Eve story yet. Because that came out of the Sanhedrin in 700 BC. Just yesterday. When the African engineers was changing the flow of the Nile. Hydrographic engineering, there was no Adam, no Eve yet. No Jehovah. Because Abraham, the first Jew that brought out the concept of a Jehovah, wasn't even born. The Africans had already worshipped Ptah, P-T-A-H. Amen-Ra. You still say Amen at the end of each prayer, and they told you it means so be it. That's a lie. Amen was the god of the north. When Scorpio, the pharaoh, headed the north and Egypt was divided into two groups, it had gone into a civil war. And Mena, Onama, was the king of the south. And his god was Ra. The conquest of Mena over Scorpion allowed Mena to join God Amen with God Ra and call Amen-Ra. Thousands of years before there was a Jehovah, Jesus, O Allah. Muhammad ibn Abdullah wasn't born until 570 of the Christian era. Pontius and Boetius that started Christianity wasn't born until 50 AD. According to the story. And Abraham, who started the concept of a God named Jehovah, and Adam and Eve's story wasn't born until 1760 BC. The Africans of Egypt and Ethiopia and Nubia were already in their 13th dynastic period. No different than the lie they told us that the Jews built the pyramids. Which one? The little one in their bathtub? There are 72 pyramids throughout Egypt. The first one was designed, engineered, and built by the multi-genius, first one known in the world, Imhotep. That was the 3rd dynasty. The last one was the 6th dynasty, and the first Jew wasn't born until the 13th dynasty. You can't build a pyramid before you're born. But the myth and the lie continues. Now they're even making people from outer space build the pyramids from the top down. Those of you who are engineering knows how they build it from the top down. They took the first stone with some skyhook and connected it to the cloud passing by. I'm not supposed to speak about these things. Oh, I'm supposed to be glad somebody give me a piece of goat skin with a thing on it that said PhD. Twice. And I'm supposed to be so good. I got one of these goat skin. PhD, all in Latin. Feel good, ain't it? Different person. My mother isn't my mother anymore. My father isn't my father anymore. Black folks are not related to me anymore. I'm Greek, Dutch, Japanese, whatever else. I am Rainbow Coalition now. I don't talk to my cousin anymore. They can't sit at my table at the college anymore because I'm Abba Dabba Labba Labba fraternity. Oh, the things we go through. All to keep us from the Pan-African concept. You know, when I heard that in, I think it was Selma, Alabama, or Montgomery, that 6 little black girls were blown up. I heard you vote for the guy the other day. Blown up in a little temple, a little Baptist temple. Tears ran down my eyes. Because my girls, I got 9, were blown up. When they were blown up. When they were blown up, mine, it was my children blew up. How could I sit in my living room in New York and felt comfortable knowing? You see, people don't want me to feel. If you kill one European Jew in Ushkush because he is Jewish, the whole white Jewish community get in arms. But if you kill umpteen blacks, I am not supposed to say anything, otherwise I'm being racist. You see, they didn't tell you that there are black people who are Jews. So you say blacks and Jews are going to have a conference. Couldn't be blacks Jews too? Or you never heard of the Falashas, the Ethiopian Jews? I'm one. I know that I don't look Jewish, but they don't look Jewish to me either. But this, you see, is rough stuff. Because I'm dealing with things that you are not supposed to hear or deal with. Tomorrow there's going to be a question and answer period, and all who don't agree with it could ask their question and make their comment. They shouldn't wait till tomorrow when I'm gone and sneakily run and tell you, I knew better. They are called the Falashas, but you didn't hear anyone saying anything in America when the Italian fascists were exterminating the Falashas. Nobody said anything. And it was the forerunner to what Hitler was to come and do next. But there was no rallying cry about my people. We were 5 million when Hitler arrived, Mussolini arrived. with the help of the Pope, Pius XI, I think it was.
Yeah, this is the cutting edge on RFM. You know, this is what you call vintage cutting edge. Because you know, them tapes is tapes where make cutting edge there for 20 odd years. We are reintroduce these university lectures in the night here, the University of Cutting Edge, because there are certain things that still need to be understood and still need to be learned, because we are saying so much things, and it appears that the people them head so thick, it have too much false ear and false thinking in them head, that them either forget or know but don't live it out, or don't want to know. But it is good to hear these things from an eminent person. JOCHANNAN, very important African thinker, wrote many books that you can still get. So we say the coming up now of America and where America is today. And you hear the man talk about slavery, and them start with history of slavery like this how it start. When we know, say, thousands of years before in the Greek or anything like that, there were African people living in institutions, having them laws and all them things there. We're going to come forward to a different part of the program. This is the Cutting Edge and RFM. The time is 12 o'clock. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the reconstruction of our consciousness as it relates to our Africanness, because a lot of these things where you hear the man talk about is exempt or destroyed or don't really get included in our curriculum, in our everyday understanding of life as African people. So we hear programs from Cutting Edge, programs from RFM come with certain views, certain consciousness, and people reject it sometimes, not all, but a whole heap of people reject it because it don't in line with what they were taught over the years. Because the information that is presented kind of sound new, and not only new, but also ridiculous. And people always say something ridiculous because them try to associate it with something that them know already. And it's something that them know already is the thing that them look on as the reality, and the thing where them say is ridiculous sometimes is the thing that is the reality. People don't say something ridiculous if them don't feel say the other thing is the right thing. Because that is what them show away over the years. Them show away ridiculous, weird situations them put in her. For understand the world from their point of view. To understand English from their point of view. To understand our spirituality from their point of view. So when we hear our thing now, it sounds ridiculous. And you have black people who were dead for the ridiculous that was given to us over the years. Because, and really and truly, you can't really blame them, because if you grow up, come live in a cave, and the cave dark, and you go outside and you say the real thing, when you come back in, you tell the people them according to one Greek philosopher. When you tell the people them say what you say outside, them are going to say it's ridiculous. Them are going to even plan to kill you too. For those of you who know that allegory, we spoke about it several months ago, the people in the cave. But the reality of it is that this is not the time now for say you don't know. Because there's so much information given right now that if you really say you don't know, trust me, it's a terrible thing right now. At this time you have to say you don't know. We're going to continue the journey. But before that, we're going to play this. Before all pirates came, that is how we must look upon Africa. Not when the pirates came to Africa, but before they came to Africa. Willie Williams talking about it. Ben JOCHANNAN just expound upon it. Because them want us to believe that because of them raping and robbing and pilferaging them, the land and the people, and always staying now at the bottom is also was all the while. But if we only knew what we knew now, if we didn't only knew it then, it would be a different aspect of life. And that is where we really want the people them to understand. We want the people them to understand, say, slavery is not African history. Slavery is not African history. And before they came to Africa, your foreparents have had institutions, scientific, economic, social, political, families. The families were intact. You might hear him always use this phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. That's an African proverb. It takes a village to raise a child. We lose all of that. That is why it's we are going here so now. We are going here so now. When we look on it, and then we see them have the wealth. You wonder how them get wealthy. How did America become the wealthiest country on earth? Where did they get their wealth from, or how did they get their wealth? We want to listen to this. Listen to this.
America, one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But the question is, how did it accumulate its wealth?
This is a nation
the voice of Michael Moore,
and built on the backs of slaves. All right. So we started with a racial problem. We tried to actually eliminate one entire race, and then we used another race to build this country actually quite quickly as a new country into a world power. This country never would have had the wealth that it had it not had slavery for a couple of 100 years.
But I say to
Michael Moore say they tried to wipe out a whole group of people and then use a next group of people as slaves to build the country. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about the so-called Native Americans, who the Europeans come to America and say, and try to wipe them out under the name of them religion, searching for land from Europe. They did have to run from Europe. Religious persecution brought them into America, so-called. And them tried to wipe out that group of people. And in trying to wipe them out, they brought in a next group of people and enslaved the people them. That was Michael Moore. This is Louis Farrakhan now.
white people, look, you didn't do it. They say, yeah, that's right. We didn't have nothing to do with slavery. Yeah. But because of slavery, when you immigrants came here, America was already built with the blood, the sweat of my ancestors. So you got what you got because your fathers gave us what they gave us.
One mistake that's often made is showing how the South, the Confederacy, acquired their wealth off of the backs of our ancestors. And even then, it's reduced to just a few slave owners who saw a real benefit. No. Chattel slavery of blacks benefited the South, but just as much it benefited the North and all of America and its many European immigrants.
Well, I won't see my longer house.
America's economic structure was propelled by its dominant export, sold throughout the world, cotton. This one crop provided over half of all U.S. exports earnings. And by 1840, 60% of the world's cotton was grown, picked, and labored over for free by our ancestors. These plantation owners were raking in money, accumulating great wealth, and never having to pay one dime to their laborers. But the North was just as involved. The North developed a variety of businesses that provided services to the slave South, like textile factories, insurance companies, shippers, and cotton brokers. But it doesn't stop at the slave owner or the businesses that provided the services to the slave system. Banks, yes. Bankers on Wall Street made millions selling goods to the South, along with giving loans and creating banks to finance Southern plantations. And much of this same wealth they still have today. Let me give you some examples. J.P. Morgan and Chase Bank admitted that between the years of 1831 to 1865, two of their predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted 13,000 slaves as collateral on loans that slave masters defaulted. One of the more successful banking families that built much of their wealth on the slave trade was the Brown family, more commonly known as the Brown Brothers and Harriman Company, which is the oldest and largest private investment bank. The Brown Brothers owned hundreds of slaves. This family dominated the cotton industry. They made a huge fortune by lending millions to Southern planters and cotton brokers. Another portion of their wealth came by renting and the sales of slave ships they sold to slave merchants. They served as one of the most important sources of capital in foreign exchange in the U.S. economy. Wachovia Bank, recently acquired by Wells Fargo, also profited heavily off of this cruel system. Mayer Rothschild, a German banker and the founder of the Rothschilds banking dynasty, which is believed to have become the wealthiest family in human history, made enormous gains by using our ancestors as collateral. The insurance industry also saw great benefits from slavery. Companies like AIG, Aetna, New York Life were the forerunners in this industry. But see, it's also very important to note that these same plantation owners and business owners would donate large sums of this wealth in order to train their children and the next generation on containing the wealth. For example, Harvard. Harvard was built due to large amounts of money given by Isaac Royal, a plantation owner in the Caribbean islands of Antigua, who made a massive fortune off of his many sugar plantations. Yale was able to build its famous library and establish its prestigious scholarship program. Princeton. By the mid-1700s, many of its students were sons of plantation owners. Brown University, named after the famous slave owner banker, the Brown Brothers. A large portion of this campus was built with slave labor. And these are just a few of the many institutions that was built with slave money. See, these men will be looked at as great businessmen, philanthropists. But in actuality, they were securing the wealth of their future by training and educating the next generation that would take over their plantations and their businesses and even become government officials, responsible for creating laws, regulations, and policies that would keep blacks fighting for human rights and access to this stolen wealth for decades. For decades after slavery, blacks have fought against unequal education, which is a sure way of ensuring wealth disparities. We fought grandfather clauses to prevent us from affecting government in ways that could transfer wealth. Land grants, free land issued from the government that blacks were restricted from. The black codes, housing restrictions, redlining and FDA guarantee loans, predatory bank lending, convict leasing, which utilized black labor but does not transfer the wealth. I wish that I could say that this wealth disparity in America was isolated only in America, but it's not.
All the wealth that was generated that helped to make Britain great, so-called, the British Empire, all of this came from enslavement and colonialism and ill-gotten gains. And it links to this modern discussion around inequality and the huge gap between the nations, not only in terms of Britain and Europe, but also the rest of the world, and in particular, Africa and the Caribbean.
The truth is, this is the same scenario across every colonized land. Today, as a people, we fight for the Confederate flags to come down. We even fight for people to stop using the word right, or other forms of bigotry to not be used. But we've been duped into believing that it's absolutely foolish to continue to fight for reparations. Many of us don't recognize the direct ties between the past and the wealth that was carried into today. Our ancestors were forced to invest in this economy without ever receiving a return. Unlike Jews, reparations were never paid to slaves or their descendants to help balance out this unjustified wealth. But understand that the reason our ancestors were enslaved was not for the purpose of being able to call us right. It was not even for the purpose of being able to raise a slave flag. No. All of the killing, the torturing, dehumanizing, inhumane treatment all boiled down to one reason: wealth. It was all business. Understand that. I know that our brother Martin did.
I still have a dream.
Not that one.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today, many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And this is what we are faced with. And this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
Yes. How did America get its wealth? We hear Ben JOCHANNAN give you an outline of history and where Europeans get a lot of what we think is European philosophy and European thinking from. And now we hear a little history of how America got its wealth. And you hear them talk about reparations and the Confederate flag and the word nigger. The Confederate flag come in highlight again recently because they had a demonstration the other day in Charlotte and a woman was run over. But we know and we understand that even though America behave and go on like say everything is donkey-do and we had a black president and all these things, we know that there's an underlying thing that is soon will flare up. And then we're going to wonder if it's the great America that, or if it's a third world country. Because, you know, according to that statistics, America is the worst first world country. I want to hear me say, I know me say, statistics say that America is the worst first world country. And America has done so much thing because the people in America, we see them white, it's Europe them come from. As we are telling you a while ago, these so-called pilgrims who was running from religious persecution in Europe, in England, came over and see the Native American them and try to wipe them out. And then them end up and try look independence from England and fight with them called a civil war. And the North and the South move against one another. And then them start now the Confederation down at the bottom. And them get the Confederate flag. Well, we see the flag come back in light again. And then we see this president, Donald Trump, this president who is very white and is trying to make America white again. America never stopped being white. It's just that them cloud it up and cloud up a whole heap of black people face. And make black people feel, say, yeah, things are going halfway. But we know. So the dragon is still alive. We'll continue this journey because this is the group. This group has been there for years and is now coming to prominence again with the aid of this president. I know that.
They're preaching to our kids in schools. These black savages are our equals. They're our brothers and sisters. I tell them they're crazy. We're white people. We're standing up for our white rights. The Klan is the only organization that stands up for the white rights.
The Klan is the country's oldest terrorist organization. It's engaged in murder, intimidation, violence, rape, pillage, the worst kinds of crimes.
The history of the Ku Klux Klan is a chronicle of hate in America.
The legacy of the Ku Klux Klan has been white terrorism. We've had a lot of hangings, a lot of bombings, a lot of shootings. That don't bother me at all.
The story of the Klan is one of secrecy, ritual, and misconception.
It was founded as a purely social fraternity, very much like a college fraternity, purely as a source of amusement.
It wrapped itself in the sacred cloth of Christianity and the hallowed fabric of the American flag, becoming the great fraternal organization of the 1920s.
You had governors and senators and legislators elected with the Klan's blessing, and you also had Chief Justice Black of the U.S. Supreme Court. He joined the Klan because he felt it was kind of necessary.
It resurrected itself to combat the civil rights movement and launched a violent revolt against the onrushing tide of black equality. Its leaders sought to mask the terror, but the face of intolerance has always dwelled behind the hood. They are a part of American history we would like to forget, but we cannot. We should not.
Today, you can see a number of groups who are like the Klansmen, but they simply are not wearing the white sheets.
The Ku Klux Klan, a secret history. At rallies across America, the Ku Klux Klan assembles to preach its gospel of white supremacy.
Good morning, Dobson. We are the Ku Klux Klan. We hate niggers, we hate Jews, we hate faggots, and we hate spicks. We don't have to have a reason to hate them just because they breathe. We hate the filthy bums. You people need to get off your ass and wake up. This is America. The niggers are taking it over and the Jews. Make a stand. Join the Klan. White power! White power! White power! And I hate Jews. I hate hate them because they exist. I hate them because they breathe. I hate them because they're scum. The goddamn niggers are the scum of the earth. What power? What power? What power?
Today, the combustible discourse of the Klan plays to sparse crowds. But there was a time when millions of Americans embraced the ideology of the invisible empire. A time when scores of men, women, and children bowed down in a sacred oath of allegiance to the hooded order, an oath virtually unchanged for over 130 years. The heart of the Klan creed has always been the separation and purity of the white race.
They want to throw white children and colored children into the melting pot of integration, out of which will come a conglomerated, mulatto, mongrel class of people.
Times have changed. The message has not.
That's right. Look out, nigger! The Klan is getting bigger. What power?
Since its inception, the Klan has risen to battle enemies perceived as a threat to the white race, to battle issues the Klan saw as disruptive to the proper social order.
They say it's hate and racist. Racist is psychological. I guess everybody's racist one way or another. There is some hate and animosity. We don't like what the government's doing to us. They're cutting down the white race.
But the Klan is more complex than a simple diatribe of racial hatred. Men and women join for a sense of belonging, a sense of ritual, a sense of kinship.
A Klansman swears to his God, race, and nation. And when he takes an oath, he takes an oath for his brothers. This is my blood. This is my family. What you see here is my people. This is my blood. This is my race. These are my brothers right here, man. Right here. And I got to say, I love the state of Florida.
The devotion to their own is based on a common bond, a common philosophy, a precept of exclusion. It is a bond that brings Klan families together in social gatherings not unlike those other families enjoy. But these affairs are different. They possess the undercurrent that has run through every era of Klan activity, the threat of intimidation, of violence.
I don't care what we got to do. You come after me, I'll kill you. You know, in plain, flat words. You mess with me, I'll kill you. You come after a member of my family, I'll kill you. I'm not against using anything, any means, any way in order to get our message and our views across. Whatever means necessary.
From its birth, the Klan has claimed to be a defender of virtue, the protector of white womanhood, the champion of Christian morals. Masking itself in religion, the Klan stole the holiest of Christian symbols and made it their own. Since 1915, the burning of the cross has been a sacred Klan ceremony.
You know, a lot of people say, well, you're burning the cross, that's disgracing God. That ain't disgracing God. We don't burn them, we light them for the glorify the light of Jesus Christ to come back from the world of darkness to light. That's the reason we light them.
The cross-lighting ceremony is a mix of ritual, religion, and racial rambling.
It is dark now. Out of the darkness comes the light. The whole world does not understand the Klan. They have mess about it. They have misunderstanding. We are for the white race only. You see, one light becomes many lights. The eternal light. The eternal light of the Ku Klux Klan.
Jews accept the light?
Yes, sir.
No niggers, no parasitic, blood-sucking Jews, just white people. White people with damn mad white people with fire. That's what it's all about. children!
For the children!
For the American Knights and the Ku Klux Klan!
The Klan crosses are ignited to the sound of one of the holiest of Christian hymns.
The cross is the most distinct symbol in the world. Everybody knows what a cross is. Okay, we light it. So when it's lit, the light upon Jesus Christ shines down upon the Klan and blesses them.
Let these crosses burn into your souls as they have so many other people. That's why we're here, folks. Fire tonight.
Yes, this is the cutting edge, going through the pieces and outlining what we want you to understand. These practices is just something that we want you to understand. Say that it don't finish.
A lot of people don't know the original design for the Statue of Liberty.
We call it an unfinished revolution. Unfinished revolution. So we're going to continue. We're going to continue because it's all about continuity. The struggle on the radio. So here goes. Because a lot of people hear about the liberty and justice of America. Most people recognize America as a free country, very democratic, and is in justice. But black people, over the years, as a collective force, as a collective group, never get no justice in America and still is part of that unjust system. So we continue. That Statue of Liberty.
A lot of people don't know the original design for the Statue of Liberty was a black female. As a matter of fact, in a museum in New York, you can see the original design of the Statue of Liberty, which is a black woman. When the French artist created the Statue of Liberty, it was supposed to represent the end of slavery. On the original model, there were chains on the hands and feet, as we know. When the statue got to America, they wanted to erase any references to slavery from the statue, but the artist really fought to keep the chains on there because this is your art. You don't want people tampering with your art. And if you look, the chain is still on the foot of the Statue of Liberty to this day.
Well, the story was that it was a gift of the French to the slaves, and that the original statue had the picture of a black woman, the original model for it, and it had a distinctly African face. But it was Europeanized because the people in the United States did not want to have a black face sitting up there in the harbor, so they carved it out. In France, they had to go back to the drawing board and remodel the face after the what they call the patron saint of Manifest Destiny. So the patron saint of Manifest Destiny, that's her face on the what they call the Statue of Liberty, which was transposed from the African face. In fact, you see the patron saint of Manifest Destiny in the symbol for Columbia Pictures at the beginning of the movies. That's the patron saint of Manifest Destiny. Post-slavery Africans were consolidated. They were more together than ever. Segregation gave them the necessity, or created the necessity for them to maintain a type of cohesion with each other, no matter if it was infighting. They still had their self-interest and the collective interest. So they didn't know who the enemy was back there. Today, after integration, we don't know who the enemy is anymore.
Yes, you can't get there. But my original will cap fit, and this is the Cutting Edge on RFM, carrying you through the university side of Cutting Edge. You understand? Getting a understanding that you're not going to get on any other radio program in Jamaica. We hope that what we present will make you think. Yes. Operator, send you the phone call them. We're going to open the line, you know. Yes, it's 10 minutes, so 1 o'clock. We're going to open the line. We have 1 hour and 10 minutes left on the program. We hope that what we present will make you think and will make you go and research for yourself what we said and what your ear said. and these tapes. Very important. Very, very, very important. Yes. Yes, here goes. Here.
Yeah, morning, Muta.
Morning.
How are you doing, sir? All good?
Yeah, man, we're there.
See. May I call up from the land of the brave one thing. Excellent broadcast. So we get Sunday still. Thanks, Kabu and the item for put it on the internet.
Yeah, man, give thanks.
Same. But it look like you read my mind, man. This week, I was there in the bathroom there, all a reasoning with myself, and I think about why we not research more on the African side, and leave out his history.
Yeah, well, occasionally we have to do that, because most of us don't know our history, after them history we know,
No, man, so the man them who do the research, so I mean, them keep on a research their history, the European side of the history.
Yeah, instead of the African side.
The 6,000 years history, and go back.
Yeah, before slavery.
Before we meet up with them, and before
the Arab and the white people them come, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why them keep on do that.
Because we live in a society where project the society, the powers that be way of thinking and way of understanding history. You see, so the majority of schooling that we get is reflective of the powers that be, which is the European powers. So you would have to go dig out for yourself. Where you just hear, you'd have to go find out for yourself by some method or means. What method or means is by African people who go into the art of the thing and study it and figure it out and come write books about it. We will never usually have when me and you did go to school, them way there. We never have Ben JOCHANNAN in a school. We never have John Henry Clark in a school. Shekanti Diop, we never have them in a school. We never have Marcus Garvey in a school. So now that we have these things, we have to really keep ramming it until the right ears hear it and do something,
True, man. Because they are no reason with our European the other day still about the South Korea thing, North Korea thing. I tell him, say, yo, big man. Him say, man, go down, they go liberate the people, them. I say, big man. Look on your society, how it is right now.
Yeah,
and you really want to impose that upon the people them in North Korea.
But they have been trying to liberate people for centuries now.
Yeah, but me I look into it and I try to show him. So me I look upon him and I try to show him, diplomatically say, yo, look upon me.
Yeah.
Me is an African attack to you. You can't disturb me down in my country.
Yeah, you liberate me, but you want
to... your foot still there in my neck, you see what I mean? How you forgot to liberate somebody else?
Yeah, man.
And that you did a preach, so you did all come give me civilization and not even sister barbarism.
And look where we get feet. Look where we get for civilization. We turn against yourself. We turn against yourself to the point now where they are happy that we turn against yourself.
Yes, they are.
Refuse we, use we and refuse we.
Yeah.
But we're going to rise still. We're going to rise.
We know that.
Yeah,
Mota, the youth, that's how we did meet up in February when they come down to Miami and with the liquor youth. The thing is, they get some numbers from your wife, and the thing is, I did try make the connection, but unable to.
Which youth?
Yeah, the virgin, this, there when we did the meeting down in Miami, when I have my little baby and my wife, they sit on beside of it.
Yeah, no, but which youth you talking about? Where you didn't want him number?
No, I say, your wife, they give me some numbers to link up with her.
Oh.
But some things I would talk about.
Okay. So you want back her number now?
The man say if that's possible still.
Yeah, man, it's possible. Of course, if she give you number, you get back number then, but we can't get on the area.
No, man. Me call forward.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, man.
All right, thank you. Bless you,
Yes, before all pirates came, people, you have some black people where things say, it's a lucky thing white people come to Africa, or else would have live in a jungle still and they have up on and all them something. They lie them a tell. That's why them have way and do the free kind. So when things so dangerous now, Africa is burning. Africa is burning. Yes, Iel.
Iel Muta.
Ah, man, thing going on.
Yes, good. You know, so last Thursday the 17th, 130th anniversary of Marcus Garvey's birthday, Earth Strong.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that worldwide, that a lot of people are coming to the fore amongst our race. And there are a lot of events worldwide, you know, to celebrate Marcus Garvey.
I don't know, this is the one where we keep down here. Yes, the one where we keep down here.
I haven't seen it yet because on CM Sunday that was being done. Yeah. I was giving a lecture about Marcus Garvey, his Black Solution and his life and times at the African Culture Market in Deptford, Southeast London, you know, which was well received and video too. But I will definitely... Huh?
No, we actually broadcast it on the internet, what them call it, the network there, live, the whole day.
Yes. So, but as I said, because of what I was doing myself in thing, but I will be viewing it definitely before it's sometime in this week for sure, you know. And you know it's really good where that is concerned, you know. And talking about that is I'm glad that on the musical, the cultural front, because as we who are in this know, Marcus Garvey was a man who promoted and defended music and the arts and culture as part and parcel of the fight for our liberation, you know, encourage the arts and the music and culture. And Big Youth, J-Youth is here and really doing good work in terms of performing a lot of places and, you know, with the reggae phenomenon, Big Youth. So giving, you know, praises to him for that.
Perform already?
Huh?
Where perform already up there? When? Where and when?
Well, he has performed in London. He performed in Exeter, which is outside of London. He has performed in Poland, you know, and other places, you know. You know, so he's doing quite a lot of work, and he has an album that he's working on that will be released soon. So, you know, very good for Big Youth, J-Youth, you know, on that cultural front. And I am pleased to say, too, that on Monday, on Conscious Radio, a show that I have on Conscious Radio on Monday, a brother by the name of Big Youth, he is now Minister Michael Gordon. He has established what is called the Stereograph Foundation. He used to have one of the top songs in this country called Stereograph that used to play at the Ballet in Streatham. And in Jamaica, Kamuta, I think you will remember, they used to have a song from Mandeville in Manchester called Destiny in the 1980s. Yeah. That was the song that brought Garnet, Silk, Tony Rebel, and people like that to the fore. Everton, Blender, Culture, Knox, and so on. And thing. Well, he has established an award system, his Stereograph Foundation, for people in the community for their achievements. And on Monday, he presented that on my radio show to me, one of the awards for outstanding journalism for many years on social issues, music and African culture, and for being a voice of the people. So thank him for that. And his foundation will be giving awards for people not just here from our community, but in Jamaica and elsewhere. Yeah. And they also have a program of financing some children in Jamaica for their school fees in going to school in Jamaica as I speak, you know.
Yeah.
So
what happened you didn't go to the O2 show them?
Yes, I did, and overall it was a flop crowd-wise.
Oh, yeah?
Because for one simple reason is that when you and others, Leroy Sibbles and others, and Tony Rebel too, and others were there in 2012, Jamaica 50, that I did most of the MCing for. JOCHANNAN, Raging Fire, Abyssinians, etc., Diamonds, I think, yeah. Is that you hardly had any artists who were well known on the bill, and as a result, the attendances were flat. And at that time of the year, too, making it worse too, at that time of the year, you have a lot of events.
No, what may I say? Lord, you have Steve Pulse on it, you have Jesse Royal, you have quite a few artists on it, or you mean nobody know? Come here, me see about them line up and them kind of boost up the lineup. Before, when you did talk, a lot of ones who come on it now, it was mentioned when you did that talk about
yes, but I went to most of them still in my capacity as a journalist. I know what you're saying. They add on to it, but it was still too late and not enough. I mean, the Jesse Royal, yes, Jesse Royal was there and so on. As a matter of fact, they even wanted Big Youth and Uri to perform. But they refused to perform because they were not advertised for it.
Yes, second time.
They were not advertised for it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the Toots from the Maytals were in town. But they, and you know, Toots and the Maytals, I mean, you know, the first festival song winner, Bam Bam, 1966. I mean, somebody like him, his group with Jackie Jackson and Dougie Bryan should have been recruited for this, you know, and they were around.
So which one of the night them? Which one of the night them was the bigger night? Which one of the night them have more people?
The biggest, well, what I can tell you is that the biggest night was the one where Ziggy Marley was at. But there's a catch to it. Because the capacity of the venue, the Indigo O2, is a little bit over 2,700. And on the night of Ziggy Marley, about 1,400 people came.
Yeah.
But of the 1,400 people that came, 800 were free tickets that they had to give away to make it look, don't make it look too bad. So more than half the tickets were given away. The second best night was the opening night, which was Saturday the 5th.
Yeah.
That was the one that had Freddie McGregor and Luciano, you know, from David and Manchester. And that had about 1,200. That had about 1,200. That was the second best night. Then the night that had Shaka playing had only about 200 and odd people. And the only name on it in terms of artists that night was the Twinkle Brothers.
Okay.
Who a lot of people left before they came on because there was a guy who was not known, who was on, who took up more than the time that was allotted to him. So by the time Twinkle Brothers were to come on, people had left who were using the tube, on London Underground tube, to go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they have to go home.
But that night only had about 200 and odd people. So overall, you know, it was a dismal flop in terms of the attendance, which, as I said, could easily have been avoided because with a lot of things going on, you have to have names. Yes, Jamaica Independence Festival, yes, but you have to have names to draw people out, and in a time of austerity,
and given that,
especially.
Given that we never do so good, given that we never do so good again, make it even worse.
Say that again?
So given that we never do so good, because, you know, say if we didn't do good, the celebration would have continued in the O2. I think that was the anticipation. The anticipation was that we're going to do so good that people will be staying back to celebrate. But obviously the people never stay back to celebrate.
Precisely. This is what happened. You know. Yeah. This is what happened. You know. And so on. Because remember, you know, you have people like Jimmy London, Liquor Al Campbell, you know, Dennis Al Capone, and people like that who live in this country. The great Owen Gray, Bongo Natty, and so on. You have veteran Count Prince Miller. You have people like that who live here, so who should have been approached. But this is what happens when you get non-Jamaicans to deal with our Jamaican independence events. Right. When you have qualified Jamaicans here who should have been given the job to get the people who should be on it, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
So you know, I mean, they make some mockery of the whole word of independence, for real, you know. But but the tapes that you have been playing there, you know,
yes.
Absolutely essential, because these tapes have to be played continuously.
You did hear the one with Ben Buchanan? You did hear the first one with Ben Buchanan?
No, I missed that one. But Dr. Ben was my good friend years ago. I had brought him to Trinidad to speak at the University St. Augustine there, you know. But what was the title of the one that...
About basically how them say philosophy and medicine start in Greece. And them show the history of philosophy and medicine inside, in a chemist. And a lot of the things them that them claim, like for instance the Bible things them was hundreds, thousands of years before any Judaism, any Christianity, any Muslim.
Oh yes, I know that one. Where Dr. Ben talking about, look for example of the book called The Book of the Coming Forth by Day. Yeah. That is misnamed the Book of the Dead. Yes. And of course that the father of medicine is Imhotep, the multi-genius, who was not only medical genius, he was also an engineer and astronomer, etc. You know, and that he is the father of medicine and not this Greek guy. And of course there is the companion book by Professor George James from Guyana, who wrote The Stolen Legacy. Yes, which was how they ripped off. And of course there's also a book which you will go to, The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Yes, which gives a history of our race before any Abraham, much less Jesus and the Jews and that type of thing. Yes, because Abraham was the first Hebrew. Yes, you know, because Chancellor Williams' book dates from 4,500 before the Christian era, which is long before any Abraham, much less any Moses and any other else thing, you know. And of course there's Cheek Anta Diaz's book, The African Origin of Civilization, which every African should also have to. So the thing about it, as you have done too, is that there is no excuse, that there is no literature, there is no information giving the correct story of our African race as being by the African first people. Civilization. There's absolutely none. And you have some detractors that you know, Muta, who will say, well, why Muta keep playing over these things? But when you have knowledge, to make that statement, it is stupid. Why is it stupid? It's like to say that you shouldn't teach maths then, because it has been taught already. You shouldn't teach chemistry then, because it has been taught already. These things have to be taught for two reasons. For new people, who for them the knowledge is new, and for people who have known the knowledge but need a refresher, a reminder. Because as you know in any profession, if you don't review and go over sometimes, you forget certain things.
Of course.
But you know, as you know, the enemies who don't want you to keep playing these things, know that if you don't play them, then you would be condemning our people to ignorance.
But people don't go to church every Sunday, go hear the same thing about Jesus, man.
Exactly.
And for thousands, hundreds of years now, we're
problem with that.
Yeah.
But them don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But them have a problem with you or me writing and talking and playing things to do with our story.
Yeah.
You know? And this is why you simply have to do what you have to do. I have to do what I have to do. And what in fact we need is that we need more people to be doing what we are doing.
Yeah, man,
and this is what they don't want, as you know, Muta.
Yeah.
This is what they don't want, because the fewer of us they are, the easier it is for them as enemies to fight against us, and be successful. But the more we bring people to be enlightened, is the more difficult it is. They're not able to hold us back. So they know what they're doing, and we know, more importantly, we know what the enemies are doing. Because as Marcus Garvey said, in the philosophy and opinions that give us the Black Prince solution, propaganda is the main tool that the enemy uses. Because as he said, propaganda has been done to defeat and undermine races more than any other thing.
Yes.
And this is why you have to do what you have to do. Because Muta, you have been doing this from the 1990s, this program, for example. If Carl Jung was not strong, he would have stopped you from doing this, because the enemies don't stop trying to get you off the radio.
Whole heap of people ask to do that. Whole heap.
Yes.
Whole heap of people.
They
Him
never
tell me
stop.
Him tell me.
Yes.
Him tell
Never
me,
stop.
Yeah.
Never stop. What Kabu, for example, do on a Sunday and running African thing is the same thing too. They do not. What I do, the amount of fight that I get, both from the racists outside and from the traitors within, because of the same thing that I do, they always will fight us. But when you are in this as an Africanist, you know that this is part and parcel of the thing. The enemies are always going to attack. Always. And they always use some of our people as traitors to try to undermine us. But what do? The more them fight us, is the harder we fight and do what we're doing.
We have to move.
Yes, so just keep on keeping on and doing the good work, because victory, African victory, is a must.
Yes, give thanks. This is a brother named Tony Bennett. Used to play with Boris Gardner and is happening. Changed his name to Safi Abdullah. Became a Muslim and changed his name. But when he used to play in Jamaica, he was Tony Bennett. Yes. Man didn't supposed to know about Boris Gardner happening. Them days it was Larry McDonald and the Congos. Yes. Yes, Ian.
Mota.
Yeah, blessed.
Man. I big up to you and Kabu and the crew.
Eh?
So big up to you, Kabu and the crew.
Yeah, man. Give thanks, man. You did yeah?
Boy, I'm have to say boo to me.
Boo to you.
I never reach. Long story and put for procrastination, I may up no reach.
Yeah. So you hear it though? You hear it?
Yes,
you hear it?
Yeah. Yes. I'm a bouncer. Beauty queen there, boy. Princess there from South Africa.
Oh gosh, man. Yeah, man.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm one of the South African who I play two music out there. My name Susanna. Yeah. I think she kind of knew. Me here from BBC yesterday. Them do a little.
You sure right now? Give me one.
Eh?
Why you give me another wrong name for next 1 month again?
No, man. She music. They just put out the music of the album. They put out two music. They put out one named Africa.
Okay.
And name Ekia or something like so.
Okay.
But near Susanna. But I find yesterday from BBC And do I have to think about that? I say, she's every year the story, man, when she had to tell her, because when she do the first song, demo business, all of it, some people get a contract and that kind of thing, and although she hungry, in licky.
Yeah.
He want control in one thing.
That make me know, say, even though Jamaican people don't understand where she does say most of the time, but just the vibration where she give out there was so powerful, man, may I tell you.
Come in like you understand everything.
Yeah, man. She's powerful, man.
So then say music transcend all language.
All language, man.
Yeah.
All language.
Yeah,
man.
But you can check out that if you look on the BBC World Service.com in the studio, /in the studio.
Okay.
Maybe, them all put out podcasts. Yesterday in the street about 4:30. But you know more you do too. More than want you, Kabu, like you and all the announcer them put out on the ear for the government have the you find petition and thing.
Petition, yeah.
Yes, man, because the one of them about the cockpit country, them have a petition that start out, but I think yesterday before, 2 days ago or so, with the cockpit country. And I have about 2,000 hard gone now since today. I know 15,000 I need for the Prime Minister and thing.
You know, so Mr. Chan called me today about Miss Lou as an icon.
Yes, they have Miss Lou as an icon.
Yeah, today I hear about it, the Miss Lou as an icon petition.
Miss Lou and
but him say go 500, him get already, but obviously nobody don't know about it. Why him not get more?
Yeah.
I never know about it.
I three of them Mr. Pandem would have go for Miss Lou and that time. I don't remember the next one I know.
You mean I name another person?
No, some other something else with Jamaica when we would have take. But trying up on the side, you will see, because me just tell me I know where to go. I mean, me just tell the phone, say, boy, petition, government petition, and me see one side come up and me look, me see it. You know? And I go through and me see, and then pick, and then bam, and put me in your email and sign up. It's easy to do.
Yeah.
But, more than love, just start spread the word, because then up until September to get the 15,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll just put your area and go and spread the word.
All right. Both cockpit.
Yeah, man. Right. Yeah, man. Because I don't want to go to no man.
No. We can't allow that.
I one about, I think one did about the beaches, saving, we should do nationalize the beach, the waterfront, hear them.
Yeah.
Or something like so.
All right.
All right then, brother.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Yes, EL.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Hello?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
Kiss me, throw me through the window. We are going to disturb the next door neighbor. Yes, Muta. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, man.
Yo, all right. So Downbeat himself told me to tell you hello.
Okay.
He comes into my vegan store on 228th, and it's hilarious now because I told certain people that they're coming in my store like, yeah, I'll give you me number. Call me when Muta come, you know? And it's an honor, I'm not pressure you when you're going forward. But I'm saying, before you hang up, if you could just put me on the side and I give the operator
my
personal number.
A white pill, you say there, Bronx?
Sun Life Vegan Store.
Which part is the Bronx?
Yeah, in the Bronx.
Okay.
And this is like somethingville. What's the state in America now that this racial situation going on? It's just the state slipped my mind. Like Louisville.
Where that one?
With the protesting, with the racial situation going on in America.
Charlotte.
Yeah, so you see, look at the hypocrisy of America now. The East Side won the war. The Confederate flag in any other time in history, the other side that lose the war get wiped out. And the winner gets to do what's supposed to happen. So if the East Side won the war against them, how are they still able to thrive?
Yeah. Ku Klux Klan.
Total hypocrisy, you know.
Yeah. The Ku Klux Klan is on the right again,
Yes, sir. Talk.
The Ku Klux Klan is on the rise again.
Because look, Abraham Lincoln side, they won the war, so it shouldn't be no problems. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't have met a Malcolm X rising up. You shouldn't have met a certain. You understand? You shouldn't have met a Martin Luther King rising up. 'Cause everything's supposed to be all right. So no, I'm talking to the people who are ignoring the situation, the big, high, mighty people. Yeah, all right. And before you even lock me off, I want to finish what you were saying, correct you when you were saying, Bolo Yami. It's because tenor saw, the way you were singing at the time, he said, that's a tenor saw and Bolo Yami. He said it backwards on purpose. You know, because you told me Yami Bolo. Remember when I was singing the tenor saw? He said, that's a tenor saw and Bolo Yami. U-N-I-T-Y, that's a unity. Remember I sung that a few weeks ago to you. But he said Bolo Yami on purpose. Because I know it's a Yami Bolo, you know, but you corrected me on that.
Okay, all right, sir.
Yeah. So even with the Serapeum, with these 14 boxes, that's 100 tons each. And this is amazing, and I didn't get a chance to really fully tell you. That's what said the people who run Egypt right now, they're the Arabians, and they're hiding. A lot of archaeologists want to unlock certain gates and go more underground and reveal certain things. But they're hiding past 3,000 years. They don't want to go back past 3,000 years on purpose.
All right.
You understand? So I have this passion in me. Yeah, man, I do vintage music, but I have this passion when I follow a lot of Caucasian people who are fighting for black people in Egypt and trying to unlock certain things, but the government don't want to unlock certain underground because the commissions they have, before they built up, before the ancient Egyptians existed, the commissions, they was building down first. We thought we moved like ants. They have thousands of underground tunnels all under Egypt, laser cut through granite stone, you know? And it's amazing. And they have this concept. With just add water, where the three large pyramids, the Nile was closer to the pyramids, so it used to push water pressure from the Nile into the pyramids to create some kind of forces that was is amazing, you know.
Yeah. All right, so give thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, blessed.
One love.
Yes.
Yes, Muta. Muta University of Mutabaruka, President and Dean of the School of Watnogoso. How you doing?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. The one of the things I don't understand, I call from New York, and one of the things I don't understand with you is the list of the music that you play, because we don't get those music here in New York City, you know.
Oh, you mean you don't get them there? No, man, hold on. We don't get them there. Them in at the store, them, man. And true, you don't know how.
No, man. You need to give the names.
Yeah,
you need to give the names. Because you go to the store, you don't know what you're looking for.
Wait, no, man. Look while I'm going to play the song, you never hear me tell you the name of the song, the name of the artist.
It's not all the time you do it, you know. It's not all the time you do it. You just play music and just move on to the next topic.
Okay.
That's the only thing I have against you, because you play some good music, man. And, you know, I can't, sometimes I use Shazam to listen to the name and it don't even come up.
Shazam supposed to be.
It don't even come up with that hole, you know. So, you know, sometimes I say, man, you need to put a list, a musical list, say on the website, and then we can look at it and say, okay, we can go buy this or get this or download it and so forth. But, man, it's a great program tonight. Great program. And when are you going to bring on Neely Fuller and Cynthia G talking about Egypt? You know what I'm talking about.
No, you never hear me play Neely Fuller head.
No, Neely Fuller, you need to put on, man. You need to get Neely Fuller on, you know. And Cynthia G. Those two is the best too, man. Especially our topic on Egypt. It's one of the best. One of the best.
Okay.
But as you're a great man, I just love you and love what you're doing.
Good talk. Good
you
talk.
know? All right?
All right, a blessed man.
Yeah, man. Take care of yourself now and your family, yeah?
Yes, give thanks. Yes, I don't know him a call from foreign. So, we're going to play this song and I hope him listen, you know, because I tell him try Shazam a holy for them and they can't come off. That's funny. This is from Street Sounds. Caravan of Love. Yes, Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alabama, I know.
Yeah, we a long time I hear from you, man.
Yeah, man.
I make the work a hold you down, so man. I make work a hold you down, so. Yeah. What? Alabama call me, and a long time no call me, and that happen. That's a serious thing.
Yeah, I youth, we have to catch everything, man. So big up BSC and Romain Green.
No, when I say, a long time I don't hear from you make the work a hold you down.
I say, man, boy, you know, we go there, see, keep this family going, you know. So, when come out, you call it with a problem, you know, in the night, you know.
What?
You know, so me have a grandmother in a corner regional hospital at Mobile, see? Say, about 6 days, you know, she don't have no bed to sleep on.
About 6 years
and
now?
And she going with that thing where she get busy and pass out.
Hold on, you're too far. You said 6 years she in the hospital?
Around 6 years, if you check it, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
No, hold on. No, hold on, man. Let me ask you. You said 6 years?
6 days.
6 days? Okay. She in the hospital for 6 days and she don't have no bed to sleep on?
Yeah. So it's like, and she can't see a doctor, and it's like, we can't take her out either, because they say, boy, she's like, she admit, but I guess them are moving them, I go through some construction business or something go on. But it's like, she don't get no treatment, and right now, has some new condition of farm, just because she's dead and she can't sleep.
Wow.
And I mean, you know, so I tell us a young girl right now, you know?
Yeah, wait, call me back tomorrow and mention it and call her name and call me back tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, at night time I know no for them go to sleep, but I mean,
call me back tomorrow. Them will hear tomorrow.
So, yeah, we do that in a daytime. But so much things are going on come out, I tell them, man. The kind of system that and them politicians are spending 80 million per phone bill.
Yeah,
and I bet people sleep in the hospital.
Yeah, it's rough.
Them a joke, man. I'm actually there. So I see why people have to get mad down there and prove to shoot up and all kinds of madness have to go on. But, you know, the love one and them can't get no help on us. And if them drop out for, you know, as like I just saw again, like, you can't go so, man. It's me I did, man. A big hospital like that now. Can't reach. I'd rather be second city in Jamaica. Montego Bay. And, you know, the lady tell me, say, my brother down the brown man digging up right now in the party line. Him say somebody that is dead after the ward or discharged so she get a bed and she will clean her hole in a motor.
Somebody have to dead first before she get a bed?
Yeah, cat brown man.
Wow.
Somebody have to dead so she discharged so she get a bed. You know what happened now? She's like, she'll lean over her foot and her foot her swell up. So that is the next problem if she never have no problem with this, you know.
So what she lay down for now? What she lay down for now?
Right now, you know, I want to say, yes, better man. A better man, my brother, one foot the pan female and one next foot the pan my cousin. So them are the dead.
For 6 days?
Them are the dead.
For 6 days?
Yes, the pan a bench, like on our tent.
No, for 6 days now, them sit down there and our foot the pan them for 6 days?
Yeah, and she get the X-ray.
1 minute. Good night.
So unfortunate.
So unfortunate.
Really, too much things are going on there, so man. We are going there.
Stop, bro, man.
Eh? Yeah, so unfortunate. So unfortunate. She get little attention, but it's...
Who that? Is that next talker that? Is that next person that? Is that next person that attack?
Yeah, he's up on the line, motor live. I'm the brother, brown man, I'm down there.
Yeah, may I ask you if the person...
Yeah, good night, good day alive, man.
What she lay down upon now?
The words from the nurse. The words from the nurse. Is them sit up, like 7, 8, 9 patients don't have any bed. It's not one person.
Where she lay down upon for the 6
days? The baby mother tell me say she's there 5 days on the bench, so that build my confidence.
So may I ask you a question, where she lay down upon for 6 days now? Where she there upon for 6 days? Where she there?
She not lie down, man. She sit up until they're ready for her. A family member is always have to be there.
For 6 days?
Roughly, we not exaggerate. Around 4 days. It's Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday. Yo, talk to me straight, no, man. She lay down at night time?
No, them sit up, them sit on a seat.
So may I ask you if you sit down? So may I ask you if you sit down there for 4 days now? 4 days she has sit down?
No.
Then all the brother tell me say 6 days now she can't lay down. How we are going?
Yes, sir.
Hey, yeah, listen to radio. Listen to radio, that's why things now work out, you know. Listen to the radio, things now work out.
No, man, I pass the radio.
We now work it out now, yeah. Call back tomorrow, because we now Alabama, you know how the thing function, man. You know function the thing properly, man. Me I talk to you and you have another man on the line, and him now, you me I tell because I listen to radio and you listen to radio. You tell me say at 6 days she not get to lay down. Then you tell me say at 4 and him not exaggerate. Me don't understand what kind of whole heap of mix up talking that. A pure mix up talking that, Bridget. You have to tell me exactly where I'm going. Some man can't tell me 6 days and then they come tell me 4 days. I mean I ask you what the woman is laying down. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Moulton. Good night. Good morning. Whatever. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, me just have a little point when I want to mention. You know, me don't know, like, I think about critical thinkers in the universities. If we have them kind of thing then. You know, and people pressure the authority to declassify certain things after alternative. Because that's what we learn. You know what I mean? We learn from things that happen. So when I repeat the same things over and over again. You know? Because me remember things when we used to see go on when we was a younger man, and we still now learn from them things there. You know, because we're in a situation where things say, a next man high schooler than our eyes.
Yeah.
And everything where next man tell us say, good for it, and it will take. And we know, look out for nothing for ourselves. And study one thing, for make our own medicine or do nothing.
Yeah.
You understand? So, them kind of thing that, you know, we don't know how the university is set up. Because I happen to in a situation when they deal with a whole heap of the youth, them, they come from, a few of them, because used to work at places, some of them come up on a B12 or whatever visa for work. And they used to in contact with some of them. And I mean, them, the way them talk, them, you know what I mean, it just flat. You know what I mean? Nobody I think about nothing.
Yeah.
All them want is them things to buy them phone and them things to buy them laptop and them things to buy them meals and them things to do them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, after, you know what I mean? And then when you check out some things, you have to know when you check some of the university, you know, in the universities, yes, and some of the youth them where you see come, yes, or no, from the original Barney there. And you hear them talk about for them university, all kind of first sororities or whatever with them have up, with them set up all kind of thinking group. You know what I mean? Because that we have university find out. Them think that we have university for. So I don't understand them thing that. And like, to me, the leaders, the misleaders we have, they now go out with nothing to say like them have no future plan. You know what I mean? And them things that bother me all the while. When I see them, we talk about crime and them things. We're not having enough to them things there. Because when I study the environment, you know. But I must say I do a great job, and the program we played a week before last week, there was a boss program.
Which one of them, lad?
You know, the one with the economic hitman, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's a boss program that, you know, and, you know, but now to give up, Duke BS and Rummy and Green Card and keep me in touch.
Of course. Yeah, man, I have a big them up too. I have a big them up too. Yeah, man, give thanks.
And then make me know, you know, Fireball, all of East Kingston, more and youth them start mash up the community, because I guess alone never, I have to come back on my yard, you know, and I don't want to mash it up.
Okay, sir, give thanks.
But big up yourself, Motor.
I will, bless it.
Great job.
Yeah. Yes. El.
Aye.
Rastafari.
Give thanks and praises. Great song that, you know, Caravan of Love, you know.
Yeah,
stand up and fight.
Of course.
I'm on a call for New York, stand up and fight for Bongo you know.
Yes.
Yeah, man, may his soul rest in peace and the great work when establishing a Montego Bay, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, them doctor, they you know, step out of Babylon and come stand up for INL Rasta, you know. And them man, they are great man, we study monks, you know. Dr. Elimaya, you know, are the greatest, you know.
Yeah, man.
And then them man, they did mad with all Bongo youth, you know, say him step away from the society and come stand up for Rasta to be Rasta doctor, you know. Them man, they all help Augustus, Pablo, no for Rasta. And 3 weeks now I listen to the program in New York. I mean not even hear the eye mention about Bongo you. You know, and them man they stand up for the whole of man.
You never hear me tell the people them which part them have him Thanksgiving.
But you see them man, the name have ring a bell, you know. In a society.
You know, answer me, you know. You answer me, you know, answer me.
Yeah, I hear that.
Okay.
You know, but right now we have to emphasize on the work, a great as those that help to publish the work.
Okay.
And we not just make it just go so. Yeah, so me because the man they grow all of iron in a Montego Bay. You know, and Bashai, you know.
Okay.
So I don't like there, you know, give more strength a word, you know, to the king, a doctor, Rasta doctor, because we don't have enough people who can stand up here and I.
Right.
Yeah, I say me so people like those are great patriots, you know, we don't give thanks. They just enlighten more upon the Rasta man works, you know.
All right, tell me what you want me to say more than what me say before. But the first time I go to Mobile, I let me buck up. When I left town, I down on the beach, I go and see Bongo you and them man, like, Bongo Shearer and everything. So what else should I say?
Well, you see, right now, like how people have them year-to-year thing, we can gather, even the I can gather things, kind of family.
I don't know family.
Yeah, I have youth and youth down there.
Oh,
if you seek, you can find. See, like how the man call you and tell about his mother in the hospital. And you say if you call you forward.
Yeah, so
what I want to know? Because love and chain work as unity.
No, Reggie, wait no man, you talk so much you don't give me a chance to say. I ask you a question now. What else must I say about Bongo you? I must go search him family?
Well, you see, you have a media, you know.
Yeah, no, me ask if I must go search
foreign. But here, hold on, I pray thee.
Yeah.
This is media work.
Yeah.
And media work stretch all over the universal world.
Yeah.
So, FBI put out a song.
So what?
Put out a song. Listen to me. No, remember the I say, oh, you are going to search to find them family.
But what I must find him family to do? What must I find him family to do?
But right now, there's other things in planning. There I seen.
You know things that he must plan?
Huh?
You know things that he was planning?
Well, right now, the burial not just gone just so.
No, but I asked you a question. So I must find him family to talk about the burial?
No, you see, you can mention, because things are going on.
But I just mentioned a Thanksgiving thing. But I just mentioned
you know,
to
just make him silent. Just make him silent. His soul just silent, just like that.
No.
You know?
All right. But I ask you, what else must I say? I never lived much bongo you. I'm going to bongo you when I go to Mobile at the time when I go there, must 30 years ago. What must I say?
Well, you
about bongo
say,
you.
Well, brethren and sisters of bongo you.
Yeah.
Bongo you soul rest in peace. And if there's any activity that's going on pertaining bongo you to him great work.
But I just mentioned one. Today. You never hear the one I mentioned.
Probably me step outside.
Then if you step outside, you keep up my times up on the radio, brethren.
Another time. Time is for I and I. We are changing
you tell me. You tell me about some. Since you call, you must tell me about bongo you. You tell me about bongo you.
But you know about bongo you.
But I just tell you where I know about bongo you. I just tell you where I know about bongo you. You tell me about something else. I just tell you where I know about bongo you. And you tell me say I must go call him family. Where I must call him family for?
Well, right now, I don't like you know, give more condolence to bongo you know, and then from this one might call.
But I gave a condolence to bongo you when the program started. I just gave a condolence to bongo you when I started, and I also talked about the first time I met bongo you when I got to Montego Bay, and he was one of the best herbal doctor I knew. All of these things I said in the beginning of the program. You wasn't listening to the program, so why the hell you tell me about all these things?
Well, probably I missed that part.
Yeah, well, if you missed that part, you don't miss it.
But even during the program, still, you still can enlighten along the way. I'm not tell you if you run the program.
Yeah, you tell me if you run the program, because you never hear me say about bongo you. You never hear me say nothing about bongo you. You never hear me say nothing about bongo you. And in the beginning of the program, that is what I was talking about. I was talking about bongo you.
All right, Bridget, listen, me now go hold up the program.
Yeah, but you hold it up already.
No, but if I am
up to know, you don't tell me nothing about bongo you. But you don't tell me nothing about bongo you up to know, you know.
Program.
You don't tell me nothing about bongo you up to know. Tell me about bongo you. Tell me about something about bongo you. What tell me what me never do. Tell me, now don't tell me what me never do. Tell me what you know about what you know about bongo you.
Oh, all right, bongo you is one of the few Rasta doctors.
Yeah.
We come stand up for as Rasta people.
Yeah, you say that.
But you know, well, me I show you where, you know the tribulation where I Rasta go through.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. And to take such a man from out of the society to come stand up to defend I as Rasta people.
Yeah.
I Rasta people, no leg of in legacy make it just go like that. You understand me? The Bob Marley legacy no go like that. Peter Tuff's legacy not just go like that. Sugar Miner legacy not just go like that. We keep it rolling because they are a great patriarch of the world.
So you're done then? All right. This is the cutting edge. We're up on the last lap, 8 minutes to the hour of 2 o'clock. We want to give thanks to the moment and the time and the energy. Give thanks for what took place over the weekend, yeah. You know, it's just amazing. Different aspects. You know, say, a man, I have talk about the brethren who me play him tune very regular upon this program, yeah. I know the brethren brought me up over event and say, a long time you give me him tune and never hear me play it on the radio yet. I will me I deal with. The man said never hear me play him tune on the radio yet, you know. And it's a tune I play it at the night, I play it at the day, and him say him never hear me play him tune yet. And me I say, but wait, let me say you're not listening to the program. You're not listening to the program. So, Bongo, you did the other day, and today we mentioned something I keep for Bongo you. And me, I said, boy, I want to find myself down there. This brother never hear, and him come and tell me, say, me not talk about Bongo you. And him never hear when me talk about Bongo you, and I talk, say, you know, as a matter of fact, I tell her daughter the other day, say, you know, say, I want you to remind me to talk about Bongo you, because these things sometimes we all slip your toe. I say, remind me, you know, for talk about Bongo you. So I get the information about the service, praise and thanksgiving, Montego, River Garden, Portobello, St. James, Saturday, 7 o'clock. And my intention is to go down there openly. And the brethren come and say, no, hear me say nothing. I mean, really, I can't have that. Anyway, it's like, all right, I could say, yeah.
Yeah, like Congo.
Blessed man.
That's the far right.
Long time I don't hear you, man.
Give thanks, man. We listen enough, you know.
All right.
It's a good thing to do. Enough things, you know. But we want to share some smitten words, and it's hard to in livication to our stand formation as a race, you know. Though around us many weeps, moving along slowly and in skips and leaps, whilst the rabbit deeply sleeps. Winner of a race isn't always the swift, in the land of the limbs, mighty full at the fit, wise-minded at the impulse, choosing the gift, as otherwise minds increases the wages digit. When upon a boat adrift, or as crabs in barrels and pits, action speaks loudest, nuff or bits by bits. Though around us many weeps, moving along slowly in skips and leaps, whilst the rabbit deeply sleeps. Black-eyed free, Messiah. Are you Congo?
The blessed.
Give thanks. Listen, I want to say something quickly.
Yes.
Pertaining to observation I made at the recent gathering down there for Marcus Messiah Garvey.
Yeah.
I arrived there in the night, after 11 in the night.
Oh, yeah?
After traveling all day.
You're missing the whole thing, man. You're
Yeah, me know, but me get 2 hours still, because I go up till after 1. When I come back home, I was on the stage. I vibes from street go right in, but I wanted something, observation that make me heart cry. Is the garbage. I hear that I speak about it earlier.
Out of the road,
let the ones them outside, please.
You serious?
Let the place clean. Leave it as don't meet it. But the garbage wasn't only outside. Inside.
No, but you know much time I mention. You know much time I mention it about the outside. You know much time I mention it not the day, brethren.
But me hear that.
Yeah.
Me hear that, you know. They I beg them. If anybody come patronize, you know, pick up after them. Me hear that, you know. Me listen to their clear because while traveling, we listening.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It is time now that we keep our events as black conscious ones who is making a difference.
But you know the problem with that now, brethren? The problem with that is next year if we decide, say, no selling.
No
500
what?
yards from the venue. You're going to hear so we are fight against black people and a little
No, listen. They can be there, you know. Listen, it's a mental problem. And we can deal with it. We just have to do what we have to do to deal with it.
By what?
We're not doing what we have. There's things we can do. We can't make it continue. It has to stop.
No, tell me what we must do. Because if we say, if I beg the people, yes, we don't do it. We put all rubbish being out there for that to not do it. And them come and do it now. What we must do now?
Okay, question asked. Yeah. And as I said earlier, notice, it's happening inside too. Inside was dirty same way.
Yeah, but no, we're not on the inside now. Because
it is a mental problem. Good?
Yeah.
So we know it is a mental problem. Yes. So we tackle the mentality of the nastiness, throw down things first. How we going to tackle it? We know that it's in the mind. Yeah. And they're doing it without even realizing it. So therefore, we're going to put people in place, things in place.
Yeah.
People and things. The educating thing, we have time for that. There is time for that, you know.
All right.
But when we have to just deal with action, we deal with action.
All right, so tell me the action where you want to do.
The action is we need litter wardens.
So we must employ some people out of road. IRFM must employ people.
No, hold on, King. Yeah. Hold on, King. We can get sponsors for them things.
No, we can get sponsors for ton little warden, brethren. Look here. sponsor.
Of course, we will be dealing with Ken. Congo.
Yeah.
Congo.
Yeah.
Congo.
Yeah.
Listen to me, man.
Yeah.
No, what you are more sounding like what the other Prime Minister said, you know.
No.
With the irresponsible vibration about money to stop what things that is unwanted. I will mash up the whole thing.
Right, so
the crime thing. We are saying, let us put what is necessary in place. Whatever the resources, let us get it. Get sponsorship for it. And do it.
Yeah, you're a Virgin.
Yes, I Congo.
For the morning, may I plead to the people, them stand up out there, you know, and them hear me. I plead to them, say, look here, don't litter out the place outside, so please, somebody else come and say, look here, do the hotel over there, so, and it's going to look bad if you don't litter the place, because you know, if you litter the place, I'm going to say an IRFM thing, and a true IRFM why they litter in front of Mr. Butch Hotel over there, so. And me dead every minute, me say, don't litter the place over there, so. All right. So now, the mine is litter. And now you are telling me now, say, IRFM must get a sponsor for litter police, for come tell the people them, say, pick up them trash.
No. Whatever the places that they be putting in the places, whatever they are required to do, they do, and make sure that when the event finish, the place is as they meet it.
But may I tell
inside
you
and outside. It can be done.
You see the next
effort? It is not impossible.
You see the next effort?
Yes.
The next effort is say,
yes.
Tell the security over here, so nobody sell in front of this place. Nobody must sell in front of it.
Okay.
That means
what?
You see,
okay, I heard the other. What about inside? What about inside?
No, you see, inside, them don't have inside of the place, that's so you know. I reckon don't have people who work in here to clean up inside us.
No. Don't go there, sir.
What you mean don't go there, sir?
That's what I'm saying.
Why
I am saying that there must be no littering.
No, but you know me I say no.
Go ahead, go ahead. Go talk again.
Yeah, Virgin, let me explain something to you.
Yes.
IRFM, the premises where the thing keep on.
Yes.
Have people to clean up the premises. You see, outer road, the public place, in front of Sandals Hotel, in front of the whole highway with driving. Me tell the security, no, me say security, don't make the people them sell in front of the gate. Because if them sell in front of the gate, but the going, coming is a problem. When you go out there is a problem. Wait, no, me I said to you now, say, inside of the littering, you tell the people them don't litter the place, you know. No, you can forgive the people them, you know, forgive them still, but inside of the place is somewhere you can deal with. You can deal with it because you have people who work with IRFM when necessary to clean the place inside, that's all.
I understand that, you know, Congo. What I am saying is, let us not encourage it by no littering period. Set the bins, big bins, put them all over.
But you hear me tell the people them to the bin them out there, but you hear, you slump on the radio and hear me and tell them out there.
No, we're not talking about of course I hear the Congo. I'm not talking about the people them outside now, you know. They don't become after them, you know.
Yeah, but the inside and the outside, the people them inside are not if you not up the place, so you know. Because I'm in the place when they don't say, but look here, rotted. Look there. But this when me go outside.
Hey, I want to say something quick. Me about 1:45, me spread out. Me take off my hair tie and just spread it out in front of the RFM front door there and lay down. Just make sure people can pass, because people were going to and fro. And by before I could go in for a little 2 hours rest, I hear the battles them when the car them leave. And you see in the morning.
Terrible.
We see in the morning, Congo when they dead down.
Yes.
You hear the vehicles, some vehicles, you hear the battles them pushing their head. Terrible, man. Can't live so, man. We can't live so.
I don't understand how we function that way there in Jamaica. Because me go festival already, you know, with much more people than we see inside, that's all. Me talk about like 30, 40,000 people.
You know, I said that. No, I'm glad I said that, you know.
Look on the place when the festival done.
Hey, I'm glad I said that because they have just questioned me towards what we can do. But I there Canada, you know. I 82, you know. After Rastafari conference, you know, at York University, you know. And carry banner go on. And you know what I observe? Behind carry banner upon the road. People doing all kind of things on the road, dropping all kind of things and behind the thing there. Some big truck with some white man with hose and this and tower the other, cleaning up same time.
All right, so here what we need to do now. My stand is this.
Perhaps, let me say something, let me interject something. Perhaps the end reach the point of saying, well, tell the organizer, say, you see the people them inside who are jammed on the street, tell them not drop none. The organizer might say, you know, that is hard for us. I mean, thousands of people come together. So what they're doing, they're just cleaning up after. Go ahead. Sorry to cut in. Let me hear the eye.
No, I'm going to say the same thing, so it don't make no sense.
No, I mean it don't make no sense.
Yeah, because Matrix come to him program. Matrix they have him program.
Okay then. Give thanks to the time. Blessed love.
Yeah, all right, blessed. Give thanks, yeah?
Yes,
Yes, that is a problem. You see the place inside that's when something done, Matrix?
Yes, man.
May I tell you, Rasta?
And the broken buckle.
Every car will pass me, a buckle broke, you know. Yeah, it's a little bit thing I drive because I say, if you want to walk from the up the so go to the gate. Maybe my foot again, man, I say, yeah, motor, I just want to put on shoes. Because you know, so all nigga want to do that too, you know. All nigga well want motor cut him foot. You say, see it there? Yeah, man. We must wear, the boy must wear shoes. You know, see it? You know how much tire me here I go prop out there?
Every year it happen, me wonder about.
Yeah, and me I said, but wait now. Why we stay that way there?
Every year.
Well, I see me, you know, because man I drive on road already good nylon road to rat, you know, and I yam him chicken and this out of box and not throw it out of the taxi, so you know. On the road where not even dirt, you see there. I used to man do that, you know. And me I say, but wait. Why we stay that way there, Virgin? I mean, you're dead, so you don't go to bloom. A man in I'm car before my buy like a plastic bag in I'm car and put all them little rubbish where I eating and thing. And put on the bag and wait till him find somewhere where he can throw it to. A man not throw it through the window and no business. Look how much people are selling out there, so to the road block. Pure seller from here, so go clear round to near to the gas station down there, so go way back there, so. And when the people them don't sell Rasta, then you tell me now, say RFM must go get somebody to do that. No, you see all me now? May I tell you, my stand is that no selling in front of the gate. You know, see it? Because, you see, the people them over there complain, you know. A hotel over there, name, you know. And them tourist, what them call it? And them tourist brand, them are protect over there, so, you know. And our people don't even know the standards, they're right in front of IRFM over there, so. And sellers are around there, so. Watch out. May I show you a weird thing, you know. May I drive come out, you know, and a man with them cars, you know, they're right at the middle.
At the road.
At the road where you drive come out at the gate, you know. And me I say, but weird. How that possible? A man not say, I want to car inside and come out. Why him stand up there so? With him pattern them a blood bad thing and say that. And when you go tell him, say, brethren, what that? It's like him vex. Yeah, it's like him vex. Me I say, brethren, you know, you can't stop there so it's not going to be who my black come out, you know. It's the other car that we have come from the gas station we have come up. The people them over the side they are sell. You know what happened? Police are going to do it, you know. Watch. I come here plead to them and them not listen, you know. A police will come and tell them so nobody can tell them outside there again, you know. And they ever hear it, you know. Yeah, it turned a Babylon thing now because when it just start, poor people could have eat a food out there, so now, and through it turn this and that now, them can't eat out. Eh? You see? It's the first, you know, the first coming, sir. You know, the first coming there. And the first one, you won't catch it coming there, you know.
I left the morning and you should see outside the
terrible.
It was horrible.
Terrible.
It was really horrible.
After me, I plead and I beg so the day, you know, Rasta. After me, I plead and I beg so the whole day. And the people, them set up down and hear me, you know. Because the big boom back, the loud narrated are gone all over the hotel that narrated. You could have heard it from all around now, when them call the place the Oros place around there, so. You could have heard from Rose, when them call it. Shades, you could have heard from Shades around there, so. I say, when I look out there in the bridge, I say, no, I know people that don't just so. I know people that don't just so, Rasta. I look inside there, so what the show I keep. I mean, I say, but wait. Are really people stand up inside the and do this to the place?
But you know, last year I was here and I experienced it. Same shift, left the morning, and it wasn't as bad as this year. Last year people clean up them rubbish and then clean up as much, so it wasn't that bad. But this year comes like nobody cared. It was it littered all the way up past the gas station on the road. There was so much litter because I just left and went home, and so much garbage on the road. And I'm like, you're selling something on the roadside. Clean up.
Well, I tell you.
You see what happened now? This is making it bad for everybody.
It don't make bad for RFM because the police are say, boy, when I keep functioning so, the hotel over there so start ball and them something there. You understand? And them say, boy, it can't keep us so. And them are say, no.
They must stop it.
They must stop it from keep us so. Because them are say it create too much congestion. Because put about it called congestion up there so. Because 1 year clear and a first go the traffic jam. One time traffic jam, there first gully, people are come down through the first gully. Yeah, man. So, the way you just say so now, you so here say you can't keep in here. Because all the people them are going out there. You know, see it? It's weird, man. I don't know. You see them looking discipline there, you know. It's indiscipline. I see them talk about the bike business. And them talk about, say, for raise the duty pan bike. That now go stop man from bike. The man, they must put on them helmet. The bike man, they must have a helmet on them head. And you see a man a dolly around him girl with a drawers and short and all them something like that dolly around you. You know? You have to say, wow, you have to swing out from him because you don't want him to lick up you and lick up on him. Because you know him drive between the two cars. Boof him bounce by him, bounce by the other car, bounce. And the girl there with a little big round pump, boof. I mean, I say, it's one of them people, Rasta.
Boy, I always wonder about them. I'm a ride bike.
No, me can't understand how Jamaican people. Me say me go at festival all over the world. And when the festival done, me not in the place look so.
But you see, only in Jamaica we break every rule. I have been in Germany and me literally, you can't see even one leaf
Nothing.
on the roadside in Germany. In America, it's the same.
Well, anyway.
It don't litter.
Sorry for calling her your problem. Trust me, we're going to your program now. And so she coming out the first she ever coming here in life. From she work I know about 50 years. And the first she ever coming here, you know. I wonder how she look in the hours of night, you know. I wonder how she look them hours of night, but she look almost same here. At 75, at 75, she look out here. Anyway, because last thing, the National Council for Reparation proudly presents a special garb.